Hello, welcome to part 1 of Coding for Kids in Scratch. Today we'll be going over chapter 4, which is all about loops. So without further ado, let's get started. First of all, congratulations, you've officially made 2 programs in Scratch. By now, you should have a better understanding of how coding in Scratch works, and if not, that's fine too. We'll be working on so many more programs from here on out, so you're going to slowly pick it up. The more you learn and the more you practice, the better you're going to understand. In the last 2 programs, you just dragged blocks under the when green flag click block and just ran the program over and over again. If you wanted the cat to move all the way across the screen, you might have to run the program a bunch of times. However, Scratch has a way to make that task easier. Using just one extra block, you can make the code repeat over and over again as many times as you want. This type of block is called a loop. So, let's get started. Make a new program by going to the Scratch homepage and then clicking Create. To best demonstrate the power of loops, we're going to be using the same code from the How to Move program. So I'll quickly assemble the code in the code area, and feel free to pause the video so you can assemble the code for yourself. So the code we'll be using looks something like this, with the when green flag click block, the set rotation style block, then the if on edge bounce, and then the move 10 steps block. Now we can get started with using some loops. To start, go to the control category. The first block that we're going to use is the repeat 10 block. And this loop does exactly what it says. It repeats all the blocks inside 10 times. So first, separate the if on edge bounce blocks and the move 10 steps blocks and drag them to the side. And I recommend that you keep the value of the move 10 steps block at 10 because that'll help you better see how loops work. Then click and drag the repeat 10 block from the code storage underneath the set rotation style block. And then to finish, drag the if on edge bounce block and the move 10 steps block inside of the repeat block. And this can sometimes be a little difficult, but like last time, you're basically going to move the blocks around until you see that little gray shadow inside of the repeat block appear. And then you're going to let go, and the block should click in place. Now, once you're done, the code should look something like this, with the when green flag click block, then the set rotation style block, and then the repeat block with the if on edge bounce and move blocks inside of the repeat block. Now run the program. The cat should move across the screen quickly, but not instantly. Using the loop block makes it move gradually instead of being instantly moved from place to place. And if you keep running the program, you'll see that the cat still moves back and forth, but now its movement is a little bit more fluid than it was before. To change how long the cat moves for, you can change the value inside of the repeat 10 block. A larger value will repeat the code more times, while a smaller value will repeat the code fewer times. See, for example, if I put 50 instead of 10, you'll see that the cat moves for a long time and then it stops. But if I say put 5 instead, you'll see that the cat only moves for a little distance and a little bit of time. And another thing you can change is the value in the move 10 steps block. A value of, say, 25, which is higher than 10, will make it look like the cat is moving a lot faster. But if I switch that number back to like 5, you'll see that it makes it look like the cat is moving slower. So you can experiment with both values to make the cat move longer, shorter, faster, slower, whatever you really want with it within the program that you're making. Now, the other loop that we're going to cover is the forever block. This block, as you might guess, repeats the code inside forever. The only way to stop the code from repeating is to stop the program with the big red stop button above the stage. So let's try it out to see how it works. So for now, drag the if on edge bounce and the move 10 steps blocks. If you change the number inside the move 10 steps block, make sure to change it back to 10 so that you can see how the loop works. Then drag the repeat 10 blocks to the code storage to delete it, and then drag a forever block to replace it underneath the set rotation style block. Then drag the if on edge bounce and the move 10 steps block back inside of the forever block. And now your code should look something like this, where it's just as before, but instead of repeat 10, it's the forever loop. So it's when green flag clicked, then set rotation style, then the forever block with the if on edge bounce and move 10 steps inside the forever block. Now run the program, and you'll see that the cat will move back and forth across the screen until you decide to stop the program manually. So this should give you a good idea of how loops work. Loops are actually pretty simple once you think about it. They just repeat the code inside over and over again. And this can be extremely powerful when we use them in programs. Loops can make your code look more fluid, like we see here, or they can add functionality. And we're actually going to use the forever block to create an important game feature in a later chapter. There's actually one more loop in Scratch, but we don't have to worry about it for now. There's some more concepts that we need to learn before we use that block. So for now, the 2 loops that we learned can be used for everything that we need. So stop the program and name this program loops so you can always look back at it and remember the basis of how loops work in Scratch. But for now, let's move on to the next chapter where we'll be learning about the rest of the blocks in the control category.